You learn something every day. This is shocking news to me. I just established this. Do y'all know that the Black Divine Nine fraternities and sororities protect the richest white families that run the world? Check this out. So, from the Rothschilds to the Lee family, are protected by the nine Black Greek secret societies of Black fraternities and Black sororities. Well, in the 1969 book, The History of Sigma Pi Phi, Alpha Phi Alpha protects the Rothschilds. Kappa Alpha Psi protects the Oppenheimers. Omega Psi Phi protects the Warburgs. Phi Beta Sigma protects the Rockefellers. Iota Phi Theta protects the Astor family. Alpha Kappa Alpha protects the Bilderbergs. Delta Sigma Theta protects the Habsburg family that exists to this day. Zeta Phi Beta, another Boule secret society, protects the Sassoons. And Sigma Gamma Rho, RHO, protects the Lee family. Wait a minute now. So you have nine Black Greek letter secret societies. And if you guys heard Kamala Harris when she was in Vegas during the campaign, to my divine nine sisters, when she's talking about the Greek pantheon. When you keep going down the rabbit hole, it just gets darker and darker and crazier. So it makes me think the Black leaders that's a part of the frats and the women that's a part of the sororities, are they protecting families as well too? Y'all follow me for more true bombs and news reactions on IG. Come over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. You learn something every day. This is shocking news to me.
All right, Shalom. First of all, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the like foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. I mean, we are in the business of I told you so. From the apostles on down to the bishops. When the bishops used to go in this thoroughly, especially about the sorority. I forget the damn name. It's like a symbol of a dog, a Spanx with a dog, like with a dog body, and then the paw sits on top of this vessel. And I remember Elder Taz Dakba, he used to break it down. Pretty much, that was the the Boule members protecting Esau, protecting this whole entire system, which now everything's coming out. A lot of talking points that was said back then. Now everybody's starting to catch up and starting to say that, proving that starting from the apostles on down, they are the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, meaning to say before it happens. And information is nothing new. It's something was kind of common back in the day, but wasn't common because you have the internet today and you're able to see and hear things, see documentaries clearly instead of going to the library and looking things up. But it all makes sense. That's why through the spirit, I would, speak as a man. But I've been saying a lot lately that people are here just to protect this system. All right, the poor of this world is here to protect the elites and their system. And these are the people that you look up to, your celebrities, your lawyers, and the handful of congressmen and congresswomen. All right, and the people that goes up in the talking points and talking about how they here to fight for your civil rights and to maintain, to make you feel better, and this, that, to the third, and turn around, and all they're doing is kissing the elite's ass. And because why? Because they have a position of power, more than the actual people. This is why when you read, let me get that real quick. That I'm definitely gonna get. Hebrews 11, And Hebrews 11, and everybody should know I'm going at. So, um, 24, it says, by faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. And he had the prominent position. He was in a position like no other. All right. He was a prince. That's why they call it the film, the anime, the Prince of Egypt, because he was in that position. He was in that position where it was set for life. All you had to do was pretend to be an Egyptian, do whatever the Pharaoh says. He be set for life, and it's probably his children. But he said no. He says choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High. Why? Because he was one of the people. All right. Then to enjoy the pleasures of the sin for a season. So he rather suffer with his people than to live lavishly with the enemy. And as soon as he laid hands on one of the Egyptians, by rule, he was supposed to be put to death. So they didn't think much of him that much. When you go into, I forgot where in Genesis it said that the Egyptians uh, think that they was thinking when they have let me see if I can find it. It's so good. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Yep, right there. Genesis 43 and 32. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves, for the Egyptians which did eat with him by themselves, because the Egyptians might not eat bread with Hebrews, for this is an abomination unto the Egyptians. So the Egyptians already felt there was far superior. I gotta say, like the what they it, damn if I had it, the shepherd kings, the shepherds, they thought they was better than the shepherds. That it was a Hyksos, the Hyksos dynasty or something like that, and it so they would thought they was better than the shepherds. So right there, it told you there's a difference between the Egyptians, which I'm gonna get that. I should get that too. I believe that's 11 to 7. Exodus 11 and 7. I believe Exodus 11 and 6 or 6. Let me see. Oh, yeah, it says Exodus 11 and 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that he may know that the Lord have put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So right there proves that there was a great separation. The Egyptians didn't want to deal with the Hebrews, and the Hebrews didn't want to deal. Ultimately, they were well down the line. They didn't want to deal with them, but at that time they wanted to be like the Egyptians because why? They was position of power. And this is the key point of the term that today's term we call what Stockholm syndrome. The Egyptians treated Israel like shit, but the Israelites wanted to be the Egyptians. They wanted to um, go back to Egypt. All right, they wanted to, yeah. The scriptures tell you that the heathens, the Gentiles among them, they stirred it up, but that's how they was thinking. It says Numbers 11 and 5. For we were actually I gotta go up. Numbers 11 and 3. And he called the name of the place Taberah, because the fire of the Lord burnt among them, and the mixed multitude that was among them fell a lusting, and the children of Israel also wept again and said, Who shall give us flesh to eat? We remember the fish which we did eat in Egypt freely, cucumbers and melons and links and onions and garlic. But now our soul is dried away. There's nothing at all beside this manner before our eyes. These niggas, man. Anyway, but so they wanted to go back to Egypt. So there's always a mindset where the Israelites love the oppressors. All right, they love those that oppress them. They love those that care less about them. Jeremiah 2:14. It says, "Is Israel servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?" So the name Israel, Yasha Allah, he's the prince, meaning prince of power, sons of God. That right there just says we're not no ordinary people. But the lust that our people have for the Egyptians, for the Assyrians, for the Babylonians is sickening. All right? It's sickening. And I'm going to get this real quick. Isaiah, I should start with both of them actually. 31 and 1, or 30 and 1. It says, Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. And who is the modern day Pharaoh today? Esau, the so-called white man. All right. So our people made alliances with the oppressors, and their job. This is why you have certain handful of individuals recorded in history as if they was the greatest thing to ever happen, and they keep repeating the same quote unquote heroes. And one main prime example is the guy Martin Luther King. All right. And when you go into the history, the civil rights movement started way before he got himself involved. He kind of hijacked it because he was backed up by whom? Esau, mainly the rats that wear the small hats. Okay? And the rats that made the small hats also created an organization called the NAACP, or I was going to say something else, which is the National American Colored something. I can't remember. But they funded that. They created that. Okay? And they used men as, what's his name? Mega Evans and all these other men that was backing them. All right? I believe they created it in 1913, if I'm not mistaken. I gotta look it up real quick. Slovakia. There's something I wanted to say with that. Oh, I said it wrong. Is the oldest, most prominent civil rights, the National Association of for Advancement of Colored People. Irony. Oh, so it was I was right. Prominent civil rights organization in the United States, founded in 1909. It works to eliminate the race-based discrimination, ensuring political, educational, social, and economic equality for all persons. Now, I know they're not going to say who founded it, who had it established. That's something that we have to, people got to look up. But it was started by the rats that wear the small hats, and they did that purposely. Control that movement of that great awakening. Okay, and that's all this thing has been about. So as great as Moses was, he didn't falter to the Egyptians. He wanted to remain with his people. Now, if you fast forward, his descendants, his people's descendants, they create organizations purposely to ensure the safety of the oppressors, the same people. So that one part I did not know until the man make mention of was that each fraternity and sorority job is to protect to, to protect a particular elite family, which is outstanding, which is crazy. So this section is just dedicated to the Rothschilds. This is dedication to the Rockefellers. It's crazy, but if true, it all start to make sense. Okay, and you notice that all these things are conflicted. So everybody that are under a particular, I hate the particular master do that master's bidding, and there's always a conflict amongst each other, which is ironic, right? They all working for the same devils that gives two shits about them, but yet they always conflicted with each other, you know. And it all start to make sense. The division and so forth. See, with those that are on top, they get along, but they don't get along. But the people that's in the bottom, the people that's out there to protect their vested interests, is the one that's really fighting and killing one another. It's a goddamn shame when you really think about it. Anyway, back to Isaiah 30 and 2, it says, that walk down to go down to Egypt and have not acts of my at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And that's exactly what they're doing. They trust in Egypt. They trust in this whole system. This is why when Jake complained about what's going on, how they be mistreated, you got the Al Sharptons, you got when you had the Jesse Jacksons and so forth. Now you have a different generation of you know movers, which now your influencers are no longer people that's in politics. Your influencers are entertainers, which is even worse. All right. So the entertainers now is your guide, is your guidance, and your entertainers now protect the interests of the particular devil that they protect, and people follow these entertainers. They swear top and bottom. They follow them wherever they go, how they do things, and so forth. So this whole entire system is made to be a trap in the minds of the people. This is why, like the scripture says, when a rich man speaketh, everybody looks at him and they exalt, like his words are exalted, and not knowing that he don't have the best interests of anybody. It says, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Yeah, because you trust in the system is going to be your shame. Why? Because when we get it, Isaiah 28 and is it 15, it says, because you have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell are we in agreement. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. And this is how they think, right? And our people have a long, a gated history of selling out. Now, of course, obviously, the focal point here in America is the American sellouts, but it's like that in the Caribbeans, with all the islands, all right? The entertainers and so forth, they do the same goddamn thing. South America, same goddamn thing, okay? They all protect the vested interests of the elites. Now there's a whole thing going on with Venezuela after the earthquake. Shout out to the brother from Vegas. He did a no, was it him or was it brother GMS dedication? I can't remember which one it was. Slovakia. But now there's a whole thing, probably a dedication, a whole thing now where um, children are being snatched up. All right, it's straight up being snatched up, and everybody know that America is behind it. But who do they send to get the children? And they send a regular Edomite. They send other Venezuelans who also are part of that secret organization to go and snatch up children, because all these national disasters, terrorists, whatever you want to, war creates orphans. Orphans creates what? Slave trade. So this whole thing is a vested. When disaster strikes, there's somebody's making money. All right. Now they did the whole Epstein thing, and they got the world all riled up. You think that stopped them from doing what they do? Absolutely not. That ain't stop shit. Why you think when America struck Iran, the first thing that they did was attack a school full of girls? Let it is letting be known. There's no limitation to this. That was the ultimate sacrifice. So within the people that's being oppressed, there's other people that keeps everybody in line. That's why you have gangsters or thugs, YNs. You know, when you go into the gang bangers, especially like the Crips and the Bloods, they throw in Masonic symbols. They protecting the vested interests of the powers that be. So it's not always a person that's in a position of power as far as in a celebrity status that this particular scripture reference. It's all of them. They all part of the same goddamn system. They protect the same system. The Crips and the Bloods literally put up Masonic signs. They throw it up perfectly, right? Even the Crip walk. That's also a symbolic Masonic sign. So it's not just the educated Negro, all right? It's also the street level Negro as well. And some of them know, and some of them just stupid. They don't know what's going on. This this whole entire system is based on secrets and maintaining those secrets and maintaining those that are on top. All right, protecting that interest. That's all it's been about. Okay, a couple scriptures. Hold on. Okay. I'm trying to make this short, but hey, it's Proverbs 6:12. It says, "A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth. He winketh his eyes. He speaketh with his finger. He teacheth with his. Oh, sorry. He winketh with his eyes. He speaketh with his feet." That crip what shit. I was watching something on Instagram. What is this guy? Phoenix something. I never heard of this guy, but he has a song, and I stumbled onto that. It sounds like it has like an '80s beat. Some people say it's AI, whatever. So there's a new trend thing going on as always, right? But there was this one guy that was like crip walking, and he was crip walking to that thing. So it's like just a nigga dancing, but not realizing there's symbols behind everything that he's doing. He may not know. It's just a dance to him. And some of them know. They know exactly what it is. All right. This whole world is hidden in secrets. And now we're in a time of secrets being revealed. So the Lord already knew how this thing was going to go. And they couldn't do this the way they're doing it now back then because they would have got killed. All right. So is there a conspiracy? Absolutely. The scriptures talks about that. Psalms 64 chapter, Psalms 83rd chapter, Psalms 2nd chapter. Um, there were times where certain kings or people conspiring against kings. That's part of history, and nothing changed. All right, nothing changed, and you had sellouts back then during the Romans when the Romans ruled Judea. When the Greeks came in, all right, you had when the Egyptians. I don't, how they portrayed in Ten Commandments. What was it? The guy was supposed to be Dathan, right? But the way there was what's the word I'm looking for? Is it director's choice or something like that? They get to add whatever they want to do that, but they was trying to show that how this particular Israelite was in a prominent position in Egypt. So he create director's creative or creative license or something like that. So it was supposed to be Dathan, and it show you how he helped forward the uprise and the downfall of Israel in the wilderness because he wanted to go back. Like that's why I read it, Numbers 11:5. They was talking about the melons and so forth. Like, yo, we had it good. So when you hear that, people conspiring and basically saying that, oh, like, I'm going by how the film goes, because and how they was like, we was doing better in Egypt. Why you took us out of Egypt, Moses, right? But all that was to show you that the conspiracy that they was trying to build up to overthrow Moses in that position, and the Lord dealt with them. So now the modern day Dathans and the other guys and so forth is like a whole plethora, is a whole entire system. All right, this is why they push college to go to college and so forth. College is a breeding ground for the CIA, which is Central Intelligence Agency, and what they're looking for minds to mold, minds to uphold this system. All right, it's about upholding the system. It's about upholding the lies that these people are in. When the anger of the people comes about, their job is to pacify the people. Once they can't do that, like they said in was it St. John? I should remember it, but I'm not. I think it's 11th chapter, but let me get that real quick. St. John 11 and 50. I gotta go up 48 whenever it pops up. St. John 11:48. If we let him thus alone, talking about Yahushai, this is a conspiracy. This is what those that were put in the position of power by the Romans, by the ad, to maintain that power. This is what they conspired against our Lord, our Savior, all right, who's Yahushai. All the men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. What place does it mean? Is it talking about, take everybody and remove them out of Judea, which they call it back then, to another land? No, it's talking about their position. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, they would the guard dogs of that time. All right. So you have your sororities and your fraternities today. Well, that's what their job was. Their job was to maintain and pacify the people. You're gonna sit pretty, all right, but you must maintain our power, or we're gonna come down hard on you and take everything from you. And now one of them, named Caiaphas, being the high priest that same year, said unto them, "Ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedite for us that one man should die for the people, and the whole nation, sorry, and that whole nation perish not. So let kill him, get him out the way, so the rest of us don't die. Well, the irony of it all is that, was it, Lord died 33 AD, so 60, what, 34 years later, Nero gave the order to Tiberius, to Vespasian, to go down to Judea and to take it down, right? Why? Because of the upheavals, and it was just that time. So all that work of them trying to maintain their power forever and pass it on to their children so they could be sellouts as well meant nothing, because what, 70 AD, that was it. That was the last straw for the people. All right. Of course, some of the Pharisees, Sadducees probably end up going to Rome and so forth, but that was the end. So that what they was trying to protect, it still came to an end for them. Okay. That's why it's pointless to join this people, because at the end of the day, you lose. Second Ezra 1667, I believe it's 68. It says, "Behold, the Most High Himself is the judge. Fear Him. Leave off from your sins and forget your iniquities, to meddle them no more with them forever. So shall the Most High lead you forth and deliver you from all trouble. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle, with things offered unto idol." And everything of the society today is based on an old deity. You go to a restaurant, depending on tribe or nation they're of, like if they have their gods when you go into that restaurant, and most of them have shrines and so forth. That just gives you an example. But when they sacrifice people, they sacrifice them to their different gods. Notice that all these sororities and fraternities, really the fraternities and sororities, they all worship a particular type of god, a Greek god, right? No, it's not by accident. And all that is to protect the elites, all of that. And it says, here's a point, "and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot." So the consent is what? Them that are agreed with them, that sold out with them. All right. So all these celebrities that we look up to, all these politicians, people that you aim to be, when you think you see somebody that look like you and you think that they're doing the right thing, well, guess what? They're going to be trodden underfoot. They're going to be destroyed for joining unto the enemy. All right. Tells you Isaiah 13. Matter of fact, 13, 14. And I'm going to end it off here. Isaiah 13. Is it 14? I said at 14. That's what I wanted to say. "And it shall be as a chase roe." Matter of fact, let me read it in NLT. Let me see what it says. "Everyone in Babylon will run about like a haunted gazelle, like a sheep without a shepherd. They will try to find their own people and flee to their own land." So everybody's gonna go back, stick it to their own. That's what it's saying. It's not that bad. Anyone who is captured will be cut down and ran through with the sword. Nah, that goes off. So the original version, "everyone that is found shall be thrust through." Meaning, if you're with the enemy, like you have a lot of sisters that married so-called white man. Now they didn't pick a, an Italian, like those that may have a Jake descent. No, they got with small hatters, the most cracker that you could think of, and he got with them. Well, those sisters, especially with those children, they're the ops, they're the enemy. In that day, if you're found with your lover, you're gonna be taken down, and it's gonna work the other way around too. The only difference is that for the elect, wherever they are, they're gonna be protected. That's the only difference, and you can leave it for open interpretation because that's what people are gonna do anyway. But anybody that's found on that side is gonna be destroyed, either from that side or when that time of hunting comes from the original side. The point of the matter is people are going to take sides. All right, people are actually going to take sides, and they're going to remember all these sellouts and all these people that did them dirty and try to maintain. You think the Jay-Z's, the Beyonces, how much you admired and loved them. When all hell breaks loose, you're not going to consider taking them out. And then if they come back, try to come back in the hood, I was for you guys. I was just after the third. Like you could hear so many fucking excuses when you hear about Jay-Z and, oh well, he's a billionaire. Oh, Kanye, oh yeah, he's a billion. Everybody wants to give them a pass because they have money. That don't mean shit. That don't mean that they're righteous. They care less about the people. They really do. All of these celebrities care less. Matter of fact, if you do go out there and do something stupid on behalf of them, they love you, and they're not gonna consider who the fuck did it for. So this is a fucked up relationship. Those that sold out their people for nothing, you know, just to maintain that prison. That's all it is. It's just Jake is the prison guard. They all a bunch of snitches. Like they said that many potential rebellion that was gonna take place. What's this guy's name? Start with a V. Shit, I can't remember. But we got. It's gonna hit me after I stop the button. Denmark VCs, yeah, was it Denmark VCs? I believe he had a plot. He was gonna have there was a lot of rebellion acts. It wasn't just Nat Turner. Nat Turner was the more public event, but they try to coil down anything close to that. And um, Denmark VCs, he had something going, and who took him down? If I'm not mistaken, it was a Negro. I believe it's Denmark VCs. I don't know. Yeah, I was right. Denmark VCs. Right here it says Denmark VCs was a free black man, a community leader in Charleston, South Carolina. He was accused and convicted of planning a major slave revolt in 1822. Although the alleged plot was discovered before it could be realized, its potential scale stroked the fears of the antebellum plant, plant, planter class and led to increased restriction on both enslaved and the free African Americans. Um, we know that it was a sellout. I mean, a Sambo that spilled the beans. Oh, like they said, since all you Jay-Z fans, it was a deaf. What's his name? Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, Jay Prince, and somebody else. They're all was gonna join together and have their own black distribution, um, for the CDs back in the 90s, 2000, and then Jay-Z done told on their ass, and it ruined that whole thing. Told Leon Cohen about the whole situation. So you have these individuals that why you know why why start our own thing? Let me be rich on my own, and that's what the majority of the people think. They think like a prime example. Another prime example. Um, After slavery, Jake was doing kind of well off for themselves. They had their own businesses. They had their own doctors, lawyers. They was educated. They built their quote unquote own communities. You know, but they burned all those things down. Not Jake did it. Esau did it. And now today, the environment that we all grew up in is all about self. It's all about promoting oneself, not promoting each other. If you don't have it, instead of just aiding you to get it, they talk shit to you. Henceforth, hip hop, especially in that 90s time. But all that was done was to keep everybody divided. I think I'm looking, I'm trying to see where it, all right, let me read this part right here. It says, his insurrection was to take place in Bastille Day, 14 July 1822, becoming known to thousands of black throughout Charleston, South Carolina, along of the Carolina coast. The plot called for Vesey's and his group of enslaved people and free blacks to execute their enslavers in a temporary to liberate the city of Charleston. Vesey's and his followers planned to sail to Haiti to escape the retaliation. Two enslaved men opposed Vesey's scheme plot leaked. Sorry, scheme leak the plot. The Charleston authorities charged 131 men with conspiracy. In total, 67 were convicted and 41 hanged, including Denmark Vesey's. So it niggas that did it. All right. And why the niggas did it for? Because it was their best interest to maintain their masters. Uh, um, it was them to maintain their masters, and to get to prominent position. And this is what Negroes would do. And then you got that in the Native Americans, you got that in the Hispanics, you got that everywhere. All right. There's people that's here. Their job is to deliberately stop everything from going upright. Like Apostle Paul said, if we had to wait for every Israelite to get this word, we would never make it. Thank the Lord that there's an elect of His people, and that's all we need. Once the elect have it, that's why things are speeding up. You know, because if it was up to you, always have a movement and somebody there to stop that movement. You know. So with that being said, shalom to the elected nation Israel. Shalom.